I've got to say, Paul, one of the first things that interested me when we first met, when I got to know initially that you were suffering from kidney failure, was your whole attitude towards that illness, and the fact that you didn't seem to accept that it was as viewed by the sort of Western medicine, as an untreatable condition.
Yeah, that's right. I've never really agreed with that diagnosis. I've always felt the body has a remarkable ability to heal, and particularly when I think a very important aspect to that is the way the mind-body connection is, and the way that we think in our minds, and that we can actually encourage the body to recover simply by the way that we're thinking.
And I understand that obviously that all the time you're sort of in with Western medicine, you're not really encouraged to have these kind of thoughts.
No, for sure. I would say that my experience has been that it's really discouraged. There's a lot of negativity just connected to the kind of fatality of the diagnosis that really does not stand up to scientific scrutiny, apart from medical scrutiny. That there is disagreement about this, yes, but there is tremendous amount of evidence now that shows that the kidneys can recover from trauma and do recover from trauma.
Well, the thing is, I mean, they're discovering more and more now that the various parts of the body that can spontaneously recover, given the right conditions. And it seems strange to me, as a non-expert, that actually that they still have that kind of attitude towards kidney failure, and that's in as much as that all they're going to do is treat the symptoms.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that the Eastern approach to medicine, and particularly when it comes to treating the kidneys, has always been that they can recover, and it's not so much that they've got a belief that they recover. They've got a kind of knowingness. They just know that any organ in the body, given the right treatment, has the ability to recover from disease.
You've been suffering with this kidney failure for how long now?
Yeah, but it's actually 20 years. I had a severe throat infection called streptococcal throat infection, and that kind of triggered it. A condition known as nephritis, which just basically means inflammation in the kidney. And from that point forward, my kidneys gradually began to deteriorate, and it took around 10 to 12 years before they deteriorated so badly that I had to go on to kidney dialysis. But if they'd have had treatment at that early stage, which I never got, I was gobsmacked when I found that once they did a biopsy and they confirmed that it was nephritis, that I was never offered any treatment, even though I've since found out I could have been, and I could have recovered kidney function, and I could have avoided having to go on to dialysis. But what I was going to say about the Eastern idea and acceptance, and really working from the acceptance that kidneys can recover. The West has actually come to agree with that now, and it's now been accepted by the leading experts, and being put forward by the leading experts in the West, that they can recover from trauma. But unfortunately, in the West, we don't have a treatment plan that is in accord with that reality. What we have in the West are just management plans, i.e., kidney transplant or dialysis, which are not treatments. They are just management systems, because even in a transplant situation, the actual disease that had got hold of the person still resides in the person when they've had a transplant, and can actually overcome that new kidney and cause it to fail. Apart from the fact that the body's continually trying to reject those kidneys because it's not a natural thing, and the body is working against that and has to be suppressed by multiple drugs in order to keep that kidney going.
So let me see if I understand what you're saying then, Paul. So what you're saying is that the Western medical science is coming round to the idea that there is potential for the healing of the kidney failure, but unlike the Eastern medicine, there's currently no methodology or treatment plan or anything in process to actually address something which they now begin to believe is possible.
Yes, the research that I've done myself and that I've posted up on my campaign site, you'll see in there that the Western doctors, research people, professors, the ones that are basically leading this, such as King's College Renal Department in London, they're now stating that position that they were holding in their minds, that kidneys cannot regenerate, must be reversed. That's actually the words that they use in those documents. It must be reversed. Yeah, it's not true, and what we can actually say, it's never been true. So we, as kidney patients, are being forced onto a management system that's not even in accord with reality. Yeah, in that there's no, if you're going from a wrong, mistaken medical belief about the way the body functions and what it's capable of, etc., then any management plan that you offer is basically going to be mistaken. And the only way that you can get a right plan in place is if you have the right observation of the reality of kidney organs in the first place. And the only way you can have it as well is if you set the goal of healing the kidneys. If there's no goal, if all the resources, all the reasoning and all the thinking is going into managing the kidney disease and thus maintaining it, because if you manage something, you do it to maintain it, to maintain the status quo, to keep it as it is. If that's where it's going, well, they're never ever going to progress towards healing people who have got a kidney disease, people coming off dialysis, or not needing transplants. But in the East, they're already there. They already are operating from that. So they're so far ahead because they're actually working in accord with reality. In the West, we're just simply not working in accord with reality as reality is demonstrating itself to us. So people like me at the moment, we have no hope really, except either going on to being chained to a dialysis machine, which in my case has been for 10 years, or going on to a long waiting list for a kidney transplant, and then even if you manage to get one, then being on a big pile of drugs for the rest of their life. These really are the two options, and neither of those are operating in accord with reality. In my thought, in terms of what I've come to understand with regard to the particular disease that I suffer from.
And so at the moment then, Paul, how many times a week are you on dialysis, and for how long each time is that?
I currently do 3 sessions a week. That's Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings, and I do 4 hours each time. I've done that for probably about 6 years, something like that. I used to do a different form that's called hemodialysis. I used to do a different form called peritoneal dialysis, but I actually did that myself at home during the night, and that was every night I would do that. The idea is while you sleep, but I was very disturbed in my sleep, being connected to the machine. And sleeping around 40 boxes in my bedroom, I used to refer to it as sleeping with the enemy. Yeah, so although I do find hemodialysis easier because I can kind of just leave it behind. But yeah, that's at some point I'm going to work out how many hours I've actually spent in the last 10 plus years in some way or another connected to a dialysis machine.
So, if once you've taken those 3 sessions in morning sessions into account, and then presumably then you spend the rest of the day recovering from that session?
Yeah, there is an element of recovery. I generally take a couple of hours. I usually go to the cafeteria or something, which I think that's how I met you actually, and have something to eat and something to drink. What a lot of people don't appreciate is that when you're on dialysis, the kidneys get lazy because the function's taken over, so they're not really encouraged to do any work. So you basically stop weeing, not completely,
No.
but yeah, not very much. So you're not getting rid of the fluid that you're taking on. So when you go to dialysis, that's the only way that you can get rid of the fluid, and that's done when they're cleaning the blood. Then they also squeeze out the fluid. It's kind of on a cellular level. It's squeezed out. So I'm generally have about 3.7 to 4 litres of fluid extracted from me during that 4-hour process, which kind of means I'm pretty dehydrated, and
So really, all these things, all the frustrations, all the ongoing treatment has led you really to start to look outside the NHS system for other possibilities that can help, new treatments and people who are looking to make cures from kidney disease.
Yeah, there is definitely. I've looked outside. I've always been looking outside because kind of what I was finding within the NHS, the kind of reluctance to even consider this. However, there is a glimmer of hope, quite a shiny one, within the NHS, connected with King's College London Renal Department, and there's a man there who's leading the research. I believe he is actually Chinese, and the King's College itself has got a 60-year plan to bring Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, actually within the reach of all of us, to be able to get treatment for all manner of things, because it's already been recognized that it's a very powerful medical modality that they operate on. One of the things that one of their research papers says is that while the West are very good at the trees, they don't always see the wood. The trees of good practice. This was a paper on good practice of Chinese medicine in the West, because the West are very hot on things like that, good practice. And it's acknowledging that the Western mind is really good on the kind of little details, but when it comes to the wood or the holistic practice of medicine, well, they really are quite lacking. Treating the whole person, so mind, body, and spirit, including their beliefs, how they feel about their illness, etc., etc. There's a bit of a woeful lack for that over here in the kind of run-of-the-mill Western medicine that we have access to. But what they also make the point in there is that the Eastern way is very good at seeing the wood, but not always the trees of good practice, because they're coming from more of a holistic thing, a whole picture, complementing therapies that all work together in a whole way, in a holistic way. But also there's a level of intuitiveness in the practitioner, in the healer, in the doctor, in the way that he works with the patient. So there's a lot more. There's a connection with the patient, and there's an adapting of the treatments to that patient. and that's not always can't always be repeated, in one set way, or one thing fits all. So there's two different ways of thinking, which is probably why they had a 60-year plan to do that. But it's 30 years into it. They're 30 years into that. So we're on the way, but a lot of Western doctors are still thinking the old way, and according to a belief that has never been true. You see, so it's not possible for them to be able to treat you. So yes, that's why I'm actually going to go to China. I'm going to have the treatment that they've put together specifically for people such as myself suffering from kidney diseases that I have, that has already been proven to actually work to kind of restart the kidneys, regenerate the kidneys, and get people off dialysis.
So now you've got the website set up, the crowdfunding's ongoing, obviously, and all donations welcome, no doubt. But so what are your plans now with regard to the treatment in China, what that entails, and also the time frames and the time scales around having that treatment?
Okay, as soon as I've raised the money, I'll be going over to China to start the treatment. The plan is, at the moment, I'll be over there for around a month, might be a little bit longer. Within 10 days of being treated, they'll know more fully those questions that at the moment can't be answered until I do that. I'll be receiving more advanced dialysis over there as a backup, and I'll be receiving up to there's around 7 complementary intensive treatments designed to release all the toxins from the body, help the whole body to recover, and to actually start to regenerate the kidneys. One of the main ones is called micro Chinese osmotherapy, and that aspect of it I'll be coming back with, and I'll be carrying on at home until the kidneys are fully recovered. I'll be posting up more details about each of those therapies and what they actually entail.
Hopefully, if it all if it all comes through, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay.
Well, thanks, Paul, for being so candid and sharing this part of your life with us, and I hope everything goes well for you.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you to you, Steve, to taking the time to do this. But I really want to thank those that have offered their support, which has been tremendous and is ongoing, and anybody else that might watch this and feel moved to give support to what I'm trying to do here, because it's not just for me, it's for anybody that actually has kidney disease and is looking for a treatment for it. So thank you.